Hey guys, and welcome to a legendary scrap. I'm a rubber duck of war, and today I'm seeking vengeance. Vengeance for all the wrongs committed against the dwarf forces. So I shall be leading Grombrindal, the most vengeful of all the DAWI, to the battlefield, taking on indypride of Milk and Cookies Total War, Slaanesh army. And this is going to be quite an interesting matchup all round. We were kind of discussing as we were playing on who this matchup is going to favour. Now, of course, there's a load of chariots, which are going to be very scary, but likewise, a lot of lightly armoured troops, which blasting charges should have a pretty good time against. Now, this is, of course, a development in progress. This is some Immortal Empires early access. If you want to check out a load more Immortal Empires stuff, feel free to check out my most recent videos. Without further ado, let's delve into this. So, we're not too worried by going too range focused today. We're simply going to get swarmed and shut down. Furies are a big pain in the butt for any range faction in the game, particularly those who don't have a great air force themselves. No dwarves have an air force. It's not very combat focused. So we only have the 2 range units to protect double iron drakes, and honestly that's going to be hard enough to protect in its own right. So on that duty we do have double slayers in the back here, as well as the peak gate guard. So the regiment around hammerers do indeed do magic attacks. I expect them to do pretty good up against most demon armies. In the front battle line, it is a minus with blast and charges galore, as you'd expect. Very traditional DAWI plays there. And then we have 2 units of ironbreakers in the middle, including the regiment of renown. Not only do we get even more blast and charges, they're also going to be rather stable and sturdy with that thick Grombrindal armor. We do have Felix as well in the center, so we have brought our manlin friend along with us, and his main job today is to kill infantry and support Grombrindal the White Dwarf, who, if you guys didn't check out my latest video on which Dwarf Lord has been fixed, Grombrindal actually has his flash bomb back now, and the main advantage he has over someone like Thorgrim is he hits a hell of a lot harder. So if you drop a flash bomb down, you can whack a chariot with a couple of good swings with your mighty axe. Opposing us though, of course, is the forces of Slaanesh, couple of furies up in the skies, looks like triple furies in fact, and double the chariots. We are seeing the single entity one, so we have an exalted seeker chariot on one flank, and on the far side we have a herald of Slaanesh with shadows magic coming in with pit of shades, as well as withering, and of course more fury summons. The main battle line is just cheap and cheerful Slaanesh warriors. They're going to get jumped by blasting charges, but that is basically their job, to take those charges. So the bringers of beguilement and other demonettes in the back don't take too many casualties whilst moving in. We also have a double cultist. Of course, they're going to be fighting in combat for a relatively decent amount of time, so you're going to expect them to get those nice summons. Another fantastic tool for shutting down the back line of the DAWI. We've gone nice and defensive. We're still going to push up, of course, to get into range of the enemy. And my opponent is trying to go for a cheeky bit of a flank push, so he's rotating around slightly. I'm just going to match him as we go and try not to get flanked too hardcore style. Though it's going to be tricky because there's so many chariots running around and furies. We're definitely going to come under a bucket ton of pressure in the early game, and our formation basically stands 0 chance of actually holding up. It's going to come down to how quickly we can react and rectify the situation. So my opponent is moving around once more. We're going to continue just to move to match him. We are moving over to the left-hand side, kind of mirroring his movements, but in come the Exalted Seeker Chariots, and they have phenomenal mass. They do not give a damn. They are so fast. They just push through all your troops like they're not even there. These are heavily armored dwarf miners here. I mean, 80 armor is certainly no joke, and they're quite heavy lads. The Seeker Chariots move through them like it's absolutely nothing. So that's certainly going to be a big problem for me throughout the course of this battle. You can see some okay damage has gone down across the board. We have Slayers attempting to fend off the enemy, and Grombrindal is going to be a very busy bee. Floats around our formation, screaming battle chants in the mighty DAWI language, demanding vengeance for all that Slaanesh has caused, all the pain and suffering they inflict on the world. Looks like my opponent is moving backwards a little bit here, perhaps trying to get as much value as possible from the Exalted Seeker Chariots, which is a little risky though, because of course if they get caught on their own without an escape plan, they're going to be in all kind of trouble. But doing big damage down the line on the miners. Look at this work now. We are going to be able to set them ablaze a little bit. A big fat pit of shades goes down in the back, and it is a disaster start for us. We simply cannot take down this Exalted Seeker Chariots, and all of a sudden the peak gate guards get eviscerated with a pit of shades, demolishing their HP, and now the Iron Drakes are under real pressure in the back. And just as that happens though, the Exalted Seeker Chariot takes a massive damage from the Norglen Iron Breakers. That's how it's done, lads. They only have 40 armor, so I don't care if you're a single entity or an infantry unit, we're going to be devastating. And the blasting charge is really reaping a bloody havoc along my opponent's front line. The back line is a different story. We are rectifying the situation slightly. Grombrindal's back there. He's leading some Slayers trying to force off the Furies. We have managed to save the rear side of our force, so the Iron Drakes are all over the place at the moment. In the front line, we can see a portal being summoned into the realms of mankind. Demonettes are summoned in, and the Iron Drakes are going to have to fall back behind a thick shield wall of Iron Breakers and Miners with those Chariots. You just see bodies of Dwarfs flying as Chariots come through, but likewise we're flying our blasting charges into the hearts of the enemy. Look how much damage we're able to commit on the Bringers of Begarment. It is certainly some glorious stuff. Now, Felix is doing an okay job dueling a cultist here. The devoted Marauders with Hell Squadrons are going to be moving in. A big fight going down in the middle here. Hero on hero action. I expect Felix to win relatively comfortably, though. He is, of course, a mighty warrior of a legend. So it seems like the Ironbreakers are holding, at least for now. Peak Gate Guards are breaking. You can't really blame them too much. And Grombrindle was able to capture the Exiled Seeker Chariot, who then receives a load of blasting charges into the rear, down to just 647 HP. Not looking at too juicy whatsoever. And the main fight is getting really, really spicy. It is a flustercluck of madness. Iron Drakes are somehow able to fire once more. And we do hear a big pit of shades going down. This time, trying to focus down at the Norglin Ironbreakers, but they are holding the line relatively well. Bringers of Begarment are moving on top of them, though. That could certainly be some scary stuff. Luckily for me, the cultists are going down. Grombrindle has his axe out, and he is just trying to crack her skull in half. Felix as well, a big strike, misses and gets sent flying. Grombrindle, a bit more of a sturdy lad, is going to stand on his feet and send that cultist to Slaanesh packing. It looks like we have an Enfeebling Foe go down on the Ironbreakers. I thought that was the Wyvern earlier, but it looks like my opponent brought Enfeebling Foe instead. Still a very good choice. You can see the Herald Slaanesh getting down and dirty. The other Chariot is just kind of vibing out on the flanks right now. Don't blame it, it's very weak. Perhaps just trying to wait for the end game. It's a little bit less risky to come in here. Particularly with Grombrindle around, who's kind of getting help in hand. So he's a tanky boyo. We do pop a flash bomb on the cultists just so they can't get away that easily. And once again, Grombrindle, amongst the carnage of the battlefield, is going to be swooping in with his axe. The Ironbreakers are nearby, and she's trying to strut away. And look at that power strut. That's confidence. Walk like you've got the confidence of this cultist whilst being chased away by Grombrindle. The Felix is doing pretty good alongside the Ironbreakers. They're holding back the Bringers of Begarment, who are just a fantastic unit all round. But the Chariot players, real top tier here, coming in from Indy. The Herald of Slaanesh is just reaving through my lines. You have Slayers on arrival. No Regiment of Renown, though, which is probably a mistake on my behalf. I need as many slows as I can get. Demonettes do clear up Miners, and it looks like all around the place, Dwarf units again picked apart. Balanced power slightly in favour of my opponent. Maybe it is a very even, though, and we're certainly not out of it yet. We have 53 Slayers on the warpath coming back into the action, and the Bringers of Begarment are still being shut down, though. They're doing some pretty massive damage to the Ironbreakers now, up to 146 kills, though, the bad boys. And Felix desperately trying to hold the line with them. And in the middle, the Slayers are just getting to grips with the Demons, starting to hack them apart with mighty axe plays. And then for a couple of headbutts as well. But wherever the Ironbreakers are, we are holding, which you would expect from such fantastic defensive units. I'm really interested to see actually how Ironbreakers fare in domination mode, because they're very expensive but very durable, of course. Herald Slaanesh comes in, does big damage all round, but the White Dwarf gets to grips with his Chariot. One big axe slam coming with an overhanded kind of 4 style of approach there, sending the Herald once again retreating. Grombrindle just getting Enfeebling Foe on him. He's going to have to move out of combat or suffer the consequences. Slayers tend to move away from the enemy Marauders, go for a rear attack on the Bringers of Begarment, who are currently dissipating. They fall to their knees and onto their backsides there. And they're not going to be big fans of that with the Dwarfs on top of them. Not going to Ironbreakers and Slayers are holding the line just about here. And Felix, it's been a bit of a Chad, honestly. He's been a rather stable lad in the battle line, although there's just more and more waves returning to the battlefield. And unfortunately for me, none of them are Dwarfs. They're all just Slaaneshi forces coming back, and I'm really desperately running out of troops. One boy stands alone, though, and that is Grombrindle, still very healthy, looking fabulous as always, and he's going to be quite happy fighting these Marauders, so he's getting sliced and diced in the back. Lovely spinning animation, though, shall send that Marauder to a murky grave. Furies are swooping down, trying to jump on top of the Slayers. Not a bad pick whatsoever from my opponent, of course. Furies do not count as a large, so they'll do some big damage to the Slayers in general there. Felix is going toe-to-toe with the cultist once more. Grombrindle is nearby, but in comes the Herald, and this is where my opponent does a really lovely play. Just try sniping out Felix, which is the way you should do this for sure. He's just going to be healing up the White Dwarf and so on, so use your Chariot to really focus him down. And this is a big problem for Dwarfs here. The Flash Bomb, though it slows the Herald, is actually still keeping them at 40 speed. That's with a Flash Bomb on them. They're faster than, you know, all of my Dwarfs bar the Slayers, who can just about match the speed, so they won't even really be able to get attacks in. Big portal in the background. There's going to summon yet another unit of demonettes into the action. This shall be the final summon of demonettes, at least. There may be a fury summon left in the tank. Looks like the Exiled Seekers are just currently taking a bit of a breather here, waiting to swoop in once more. But the demonettes of Slaanesh are indeed going down, and it's a grindy fight in the middle. The Exalted Seeker Chariot took a big pounding early on. It is going to be going after Felix. Again, a fantastic target priority here. But the Chariot itself is getting very, very low. Up to 69 kills. Slaanesh indeed is pleased here. Marauders continue to move in. Grombrindle's going to countercharge him, of course, with his bro. These guys have been fighting back-to-back for a considerable portion of the battle so far. It doesn't look like that's going to end anytime soon. No, that Slayer went for a heroic jump and strike and got shield bash in the face. Ironbreakers attempting to avenge their brethren here. It is a real close, just blood and thunder game. And though the balance tower is even, our opponent did have a summon on the battlefield, so you never know. Maybe we do have hope yet. Once again, the cultist of Slaanesh is going to be retreating, trying to save their own skin. Now, the Herald of Slaanesh is bounding around on the Chariot, just kind of cackling away. Going to be swooping back and charging into the enemy, running over the Slayers and Ironbreakers, and there's not much I can do against this Chariot, which is obviously quite a big problem. They are a big problem in general for Dwarfs, the Exalted Chariots. They're just really gnarly if you don't have the tools to stop them. We have a Flash Bomb, but again, if it doesn't allow you to catch them, what is the point of the Flash Bomb? Slayer's going down, Marauders going down, Furies are also swooping into the action. This, of course, is a summon, and we are just about holding, but Balance Fight is going in our favor. Felix looks like he may well be done here. Enfeebling Foe goes down on top of him with some good cycle charging, but then we come with the Flash Bomb, once again trying to slow down the Herald, but yeah, it's not doing us any good up against him. The Furies, however, learned that melee defense is certainly going to help. Their near defense is a pitiful 0 right now, which I don't really have to tell you guys isn't very good, as you can expect. And the Slaanesh Chariot is continuing to bully us. In the distance, though, the Exalted Seekers actually been jumped by 3 Norgolin and Ironbreakers, and their fury, their heart, and their rage is enough to send this Exalted Seeker back into the warp and slaughtering the beasties. So absolute chads here. Look at that little cheer, the axe pump into the skies. 3 Ironbreakers remain, and they are steadfast in their loyalty to Grombrindle, trying to get back in on the action. Felix, though, is sniped, unfortunately, due to the cycle charging. Beautiful play here, coming in by indypride. And, yeah, Felix isn't having the best of days right now. He started off pretty strong, 56 kills. He's now being bullied, unfortunately. But Grombrindle stands, and he may stand alone, but not for long. There are 3 Ironbreakers on arrival. Maybe more moral support than anything, but hey, it's got to count for something. And just as I say that, the Herald does decide to just comfortably run them over, and 3 go down, 2 get up, but 1 sad Norgolin Ironbreaker does indeed remain there on the dirt. Because it isn't a bit of a sad sight, but look at the bodies spewed across the battlefield. It is rather scary stuff. Now, Felix has broken, which is real bad news for me. Grombrindle is far from breaking. In fact, he is unbreakable, so he doesn't really give a damn, and is going to be doing pretty decent damage to all these Slaanesh forces. I basically need to kill every single unit on my opponent's army to force a Slaanesh Chariot to stay in combat with me, but that's only in, like, competitive play and, playing between friends like this game was. In, your random, like, ranked quick battles and, random lobbies and stuff, there's nothing stopping your opponent just continuously cycle charging Grombrindle to death, of course. 2 Ironbreakers actually make it back into battle, and they come in with a bit of a nice little couple of strikes there. They take down a couple of Marauders and continue to push through to... Look, they move all the way up to the White Dwarf. We're with you, my king! Oh, and then... and then the White Dwarf repays them by slapping them down as if they are beneath him. They do get up again, but they're probably thinking... I don't know if we should be so loyal to the White Dwarf. We fought our way through a battlefield, through that fires of hell itself to get alongside him, and he just kind of hits them aside without really a care in the world. So we do manage to break the majority of the opponent's infantry. Looks like Felix is broken, so I'm actually going to try a bit of a Mission Impossible. Can we save Felix? Is it possible? Well, you never know, and if we get on top of the Herald and he really wants to kill Felix, he's going to have to stand and fight at least for a short while, and we might be able to flash bomb him and take him down. Looks like the cultists may come back, but many of the other units are indeed shattering. Felix is just going for a stroll. He's fine. He's kind of that dog in the burning house meme where he's like, yeah, this is absolutely fine, getting dragged through spikes. Just another day out with Gotrek, really, though Gotrek has, of course, left the White Dwarf to babysit Felix. And it looks like the Herald of Slaanesh is going to continue to try to focus them down where possible. At this point, we're going to fast forward a little bit, of course, as I just continuously move on to try and take down this evil beastie. Now, the Ironbreakers get run over and both unfortunately get slain. They didn't have the best comeback here, but we are able to drop a flash bomb down on the Herald of Slaanesh. There is a Pop of Locust Grace. It's not going to do too much physical resistance-wise. Of course, Grombrindle does magic attacks, one of the reasons I think he's going to be pretty damn great up against all the demons, and the Herald of Slaanesh takes some big hits there, not enjoying that whatsoever. And it has actually bought us time, though, for Felix to return to the action. He tries to come in like a Chad, instead gets absolutely flattened. Many men have been flattened by Slaanesh, but he gets up again, only to get knocked down most likely. But the Grombrindle's on his way. We do get a help in hand. It is very early pops. He's not in engagements, but I thought Felix was simply going to break. But quite fortuitously, he is chucked towards us, and the Chariot just comes to a halt against Grombrindle, who still has help in hand. Popped 110 magical attack, melee attack, and the Herald of Slaanesh is certainly going to be receiving a multitude of hits here. Can Felix survive the battle? Banter is swooping massively in my favor. The Summer Orders coming back. I care very little for them, though. And the White Dwarf, a lovely swinging animation. The Herald of Slaanesh shall be just yet another name on the endless list of dead enemies for Grombrindle and Felix. And it is a glorious Pyrrhic victory for the forces of the DAWI. Very well played to my opponent. Indypride, played a load of games with him. He's a really lovely dude. Actually, I haven't had the chance to kind of work with him before or play games with him before in any of the other DLCs. We played an absolute crap ton this time, which is really good. He's a really nice dude, so definitely go check out his channel. He's called Milk and Cookies Total War. If you found my channel and haven't found his, I don't know what you're doing, but just in case, yeah, go check it out. There's a load of awesome Total War kind of multiplayer videos, news videos, the absolute lot. Certainly one of the OGs there. But we were able to take him down, mainly due to Grombrindle. 3,000 gold value on the Boyo. 2.9 on the Herald of Slaanesh, but that also largely came down to some big pit of shades, of course, on the Peak Gate Guard, who are rather sad at the end of the day. It's a very interesting matchup, of course. The infantry, the cavalry, it's all so lightly armored. Blasting charges are just up against them, but at the same time, fantastic backline harass and just devastating chariots, and they're a really big problem for dwarfs here. Though they didn't get the best value, but you just can't stop them and shut them down. But eventually, Grombrindle always gets his wish. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a good fun one to cast and a fantastic one to play. If you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. Both things help out the channel massively. And leave a comment down below what you thought of the battle. What was your favourite moment and what you'd like to see in the future. I am currently dropping 2 videos a day like a mad lad. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep that up, but I want to give you guys, of course, as much Immortal Empires as possible. So make sure to check out the channel. I believe this is the 2nd video of the day. Just check out the channel to see if we've got any more pop-in. Load of links down below to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. But yeah, let's see what actually happened here. So 3,000 on Grombrindle's nice, 1.6k on the Ironbreakers, Felix 965, 1.8 on the second year of Ironbreakers. They were really sturdy boyos today. They did fantastic. The Slayers got good kills, but they were mainly trying to protect the Iron Drakes, which I think in this matchup, I'm actually in the future probably going to bring 0 range. Like, I don't know if there's any need to bring range. You just simply can't protect it. I like the idea of like a flame cannon here because it would do so much damage to the enemy infantry. But it's simply going to get finished off by, Furies. You just can't stop them as dwarfs, which is a little bit sad. But, our infantry is good enough for us. 2.9k, fantastic on the Herald. The other chariot did okay. The Coatls not the best value, but of course they also come in with the summons. Marauders got absolutely eviscerated. Bringers of Begarment are just one of the best units in the game. 1.4k value on them, 143 kills, and the other demonettes did good, 1,000 value. Maybe the demonettes perhaps are the answers if you can circumvent the blasting charges. Until next time, guys, peace, and as always, stay awesome.